this part because this is really, to me, really important, you know, because like we have to understand that Russia, USA, and the European Union are all working together, and like this whole feudalism thing that they're like projecting to the media is not real. And like Russia and America have no issues with each other. Yeah, they're both like white paradise islands, what they call it, you know, where like they exist to sustain white populations and subjugate non-white populations. All right. I just want to, I already about to read this passage. I'm gonna read two passages. I'm doing this because I feel like this needs to be like for myself and for everybody, honestly. Okay. When this definition of racism as a strategy for white genetic survival is mastered, one can understand precisely not only the present global power formations and realignments, example given the USA/USSR linkage and the European unification, but also all present urban non-white centered epidemics. I'm speaking of the concurrent urban crisis of drug use, drug addiction, drug-related murder, teenage pregnancy, infant mortality, Black academic underachievement, Black teenage unemployment, Black adult unemployment, Black male incarceration, single parent female head of households, chronic welfare dependency, poverty, AIDS, and homelessness. These are very disturbing individual and group destructive pathological forms of behavior that are direct and indirect byproducts of a behavioral power system fundamentally structured for white genetic survival locally and globally. And this is, continuing. The reason that the Black male, as recently symbolized by Willie Horton, is and always has been central to the issue of white supremacy is clarified by the definition of racism as white genetic survival. In the collective white psyche, Black males represent the greatest threat to white genetic survival because only males of any color, in parentheses, can impose sexual intercourse, and Black males have the greatest genetic potential of all non-white males to cause white genetic annihilation. Thus, Black males must be attacked and destroyed in a power system designed to assure white genetic survival. In the white supremacy mindset, consciously or subconsciously, Black males must be destroyed in significant numbers, just as they were in earlier days when there was widespread open lynchings and castration of Black males, or during the Tuskegee syphilis study from 1932 to 1972, when a large number of Black males were used and destroyed by whites. Today, we are witnessing a more subtle, systematic approach to white genetic survival. The destruction of Black males now is indirect so that the Black male victims themselves can be led to participate in and then be blamed for their own mass deaths. However, through close examination and understanding of the ultimate objective of white supremacy as collective white genetic survival, the steps, So this is one of my favorite passages from this book because it's really simple and like easy to digest. And I want to hear you guys' thoughts about this passage. Like, what does it evoke? How did you feel when reading this?
Everything that's totally accurate. Think about every single hood movie you've ever seen, and like think of that is white supremacy in effect. The entire movie exists because of white supremacy, and it exists to reinforce that mentality of being doing that, participating in violence against Black people, melanated people is it's fun, it's cool to do. So this allows us to contextualize all of entertainment, all of music as well, in a way that if it represents any Black people or non-white people being destroyed or harmed or being name called to each other, it's serving to maintain and refine white supremacy 100%. And case in point, 21 Savage music. You know, all it is very like it stems from a place of trauma. It is so popular because it reinforces and maintain racism and white supremacy.
Yeah, for me, like that passage, it reminds me of in King's, you know, King Leopold. Like, yeah, and like how right before that they were like divvying up Africa, like all of
what was it called? The Berlin Conference?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah, and like all of these strategies of who wanted what place and things like that. Like just the inhumanity of it all. And then we watched another movie where it was about Germany. I think she writes about the Wannsee.
Yeah, the Wannsee conference.
Yeah, where they were basically talking about the annihilation of like the Jews during the Holocaust and planning it out in this like very nonchalant way. And
very
that's
methodical.
for them. It's just like strategy. It's not like people's lives or it's not like humans. It's just like a strategy to persist whatever domination.
Language was so subtle. Like we're gonna ironize the cities, ironize it.
I've been rewatching The Pianist, just to like see how a film about Jewish trauma humanizes and creates empathy for the characters. While when you see The Color Purple, you see films like just films that have mammy figures and like Sambo figures, how Black people are literally objects of torture, you know. And Mary, do you want to like unpack the statement?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I was watching the Pianist with Trey, and we did have that conversation about.
She brought it up actually. I was so unaware of it until Mary brought it up. I was like, they actually are very humanized. They're like a nice family.
When they are depicting the Holocaust tragedies, like with anybody who's given direction or the director's intention, you feel sympathy. You feel like these people were disrespected. Whereas you can feel the same way because when we're watching like something like 12 Years a Slave, Django, all these movies that relate to slavery, when we're watching this, we know fully that this is painful and this is empathetic, but that is not what I see in the shots. The shots are very much the Black, like let's say it's a Black person being whipped, you see the flesh being ripped off the skin, you see their reaction, it's almost it's sadistic pleasure. Anybody who's in on the joke can be sexually aroused by that who is in support of white supremacy. Anybody who's in on in that can basically
any masochist.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas any depiction of the Holocaust, you don't see you see people get shot dead, but it's empathy that's created. You see children in degrade, like just positions of
suffering.
Exactly, but the suffering that you see is not a suffering that you can gain any kind of pleasure from, because even the set or the format of it is very much bird's eye perspective, whereas with any Black suffering or any Black torturing, it's right up close, so you have that interaction as if it's a porno. That's my experience.
And it's always from the perspective of the person whipping the other person. It's never
the whipper.
Yeah, it's very strange.
These are all strategies to further desensitize and to remind people these people are the others. These people are not entitled to justice, not entitled to life, not entitled to the same things that white men are entitled to. I just want to reinforce that to you. And when I say that, I mean that is the image that mass media culture presents. Mass media culture as in films, television, all works of cinema, sci-fi, fiction, fantasy, newspaper you read, all that is supposed to desensitize and like normalize the black genocide that's happening at the moment.
And The Color Purple is like especially egregious because it's made like Steven Spielberg. Like that movie infuriates me so much because it takes so much of the subtleties from the book and just turns it into this like Black trauma narrative made by a white person like Steven Spielberg, who I don't know how you would have the audacity to think you could make that film anyway. And actually like the characters that are abusive are also like sympathetic characters, because in the book you're aware of like the structures that produce this type of world, whereas like in the movie they're just like blackmail abusers, and it's very fucked up. Like, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's always. I can't give much references. If when I do, the movies do come to me, I would. But lots of Black movies that I've seen that deal with very necessary topics like molestation within families, or like Black male abuse. It's even okay. An example I can give. What's Love Got to Do with it? The biopic of Ike and Tina. And Ike's basic behavior towards Tina, it gave her very much, not to say that there was an underlying truth with it, but whenever a Black male's aggression or like abuse is being showcased within like the Black family structure in films and movies, that I recognize that it's very much like, oh, this person is evil, whereas they don't give that person any kind of moral empathy or any kind of psychological understanding of or humanization of how this person has come to be an abuser. It's like it's inherent. They try to make this to I feel like perpetuate the imagery that is inherent, that Black males are abusive or aggressive or beast-like. As opposed to when a white person is any kind of abusive, they will showcase the father abusing them. They will showcase somewhere where they got it from, and it's not inherent.
Yeah.
When in actual fact, it is inherent in their thought and subconscious and DNA.
Yeah, I want to read this. It's for the preface. In the present era, truth and justice has been crushed by the global power system of white supremacy, making the existence of peace on the planet impossible under this reign of terror. So I can see this. Of course, this is very accurate, because you can't even say racism, white supremacy without a bunch of white people losing their minds, literally like feeling an assortment of emotions from, oh, you hate white people, you wouldn't kill white people. That's not what I said. I said racism, white supremacy is alive and well, and it needs to be destroyed. If you have a problem with that, then of course you are part of the problem, because such systems shouldn't have never existed in the first place. But the conditioning, the brainwashing, the system has done such a magnificent job on the masses that this is so eerily true, that the truth, the reality, that which is, like, it's met with such hostility, because people are not willing, wanting to, or aware that, you know, the reality is not what it should be. And collectively we could, you know, fix this in a day, but the white supremacists have done a good job.
I want to say, from with this information that what you just explained in the preface, how is it that we now arm ourselves? Because this information is helping me highly in terms of rationalizing myself and being able to explain, get to a point where I'd be able to explain in layman terms to any European person the issues that just basically pointing out white supremacy in something that is inherently, that they would say is not white supremacy, like email wars, or like being subjugated to like the heavier flack of work, or not knowing my rights at work. I'll be able to explain it better now, but I'd want to say, with what you just explained, how do you think that we can basically practically make changes in our community?
Oh, like it just comes with, like, you know, first getting people aware that what's going on, what the system is doing to them, has been doing to them, and will always do to them unless we do something about it. That needs to be like, so like I'm thinking about like doing like community like lectures, like I'm already talking about spaces and being able to do lectures there just to like talk about race and white supremacy. Just, you know, if you put the knowledge in your face and you don't accept it, you're a fool. And if you accept the knowledge, then you are a wise person. That's just that which is. So, but we need critical mass. We need every Black non-white person talking about race and white supremacy, aware of race and white supremacy, and yeah, like just how we're under attack 24 hours a day. We need to be aware that we need to be defensive and cognizant and constructive about race and white supremacy 24 hours a day.
Does anyone have anything to add to that?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I learned a term today called intercommunalism. Is basically when you unify oppressed people and they organize together. And to me, like this lecturer was talking about how you combat white supremacy, and she quoted white supremacy as a terroristic power system, and that's what it is by definition. And I totally agree with Swala. Like how we even start to combat white supremacy is by having critical mass. I mean, people need to be aware. The biggest like trick of racism, white supremacy is that they have duped people to the point where they don't believe that they're living in a racist society. For example, I live in London, and a lot of people here, like they don't even believe that racism is a thing. They think racism ended when the slaves were freed, and it's a real big issue. Like I'll have conversations with folks. If I bring up the term racism, white supremacy, the energy just changes because it's a not well discussed issue, and that's what white people and Black people. That's everybody. Everyone has been kind of manipulated into thinking that this is like an individualistic society where you could make yourself successful just by trying your hardest. Not true at all. That is not true.
Yeah, well, yeah. This is not an individualistic society. This is a white supremacist society where white people collectively have the benefits, and all Black and non-white people are subjugated and abused. So great, yeah. I love that you said that, Trey, because this is like people think that like people exist in this meism frequency where they're only concerned about themselves. They're trying to like make enough money to survive, but who controls and owns and creates the value of money? White people, white supremacists. So we have to understand this and stop ending the confusion and deceit of and shame and uncomfortableness of talking about our reality, our shared reality, white and non-white people.
Agreed. I grew up most definitely being under that frame of mind of, oh, racism doesn't really exist anymore because I'm not a slave. But that's not understanding the connotations of slavery, not knowing that me basically in my mind as a child thinking, literally as a child, watching TV and just a couple of hours of advertisements is enough to basically feel inadequate. It's enough to feel like, oh, I can't wear red lipstick. I literally thought to myself I couldn't wear red lipstick because it's for white people. There was so many little thoughts and that could subconsciously hold you back. That is slavery. Mental slavery was what I was dealing with the most in those early ages, especially when I'm there feeling bad, saying I'm an angry woman, and racism clearly doesn't exist because we're all sitting in the same classroom.
Yeah, and just if we like look at how what you and Trey just said about thinking racism ended after slavery ended, that's such a a way to minimalize 400 years of people believing and acting as such white people are superior to black people. And you see that in them owning them, raping them, breeding them, experimenting on them,
eating them.
Yeah, so that's proof that this whole like 400 years of suffering and no reparations, not because you can never pay that back, but it would have like gave us some like in the economic realms, like we wouldn't probably have like these quote unquote ghettos, which are white supremacist experiments as well. So just to minimalize slavery and just the entire history of European white people abusing all non-white people, it's proof that white supremacy is alive and well, because you shouldn't have that mentality. You should be able to understand the psychology behind 400 years of believing that you're better than people and 400 years of abusing a person into a slave role. You should know the like psychological ramifications of that, and to know that it's not gonna end through legislation. It's gonna end through like serious like mental healing and mental work, and understanding that like this is a terrible like way to behave as a quote unquote human being from the white perspective, and how are we gonna make this right? Like what can we actually do to heal our minds and spirits? But the white supremacists are never gonna have this like this thought, so we have to counter them.
I really want to talk about some of. I want to talk about the more covert, the more. Who's mic is in?
Everybody mute their mic is not talking.
Yeah. So basically, I want to talk about more covert. Mary, can you mute your mic if you're not talking? Mary, can you mute your mic?
Everything.
So, that was my mic doing that anyway. So I want to talk about covert racism, white supremacy, like racism, white supremacy that you cannot see, and like some of the like telltale signs of that. And there are a few examples in the book that kind of show how like the subconscious is always working. Subconscious is always working. So no matter what we do or what we write down or what we create and what we call art, there will be some form of the truth in that manifestation of that creation, of that craft, whatever it is. Subconscious is always working. That's kind of like the beauty of the universe. And I just want to start the dialogue by opening with this this thing that she says. She says, all right, those symbols are usually visual entities. They also take the form of speech or can be found in activities such as games. Symbols are specific to people and their experiences, their evolved cultures and circumstances. As such, symbols are the entities that carry highly compacted messages pertaining to the origin, identity, and survival of individuals and collective peoples. In the form of visual entities, keep in mind when she says visual entities, I'm hearing visual reminders of this is your God, this is your way of living, your rite of passage. This is how you remember to keep fucking up these black people and keep displaying your white dominance. Visual entities. In the form of visual entities, patterns of speech and or activity, symbols contain complex messages distilled from the conscious levels of the brain computer. These messages have been reduced to their essence in the subconscious, functioning there. These highly coded messages are stored and continuously referred to for existence and survival. Once a symbol evolves in a person's subconscious, that person uses a symbol with high frequency, has little or to no necessary conscious understanding of its meaning. A shared symbol speaks volumes, although contained in a relatively small visual or auditory package. A symbol speaks loudly or even shouts its meaning without uttering a sound. Symbols communicate from one person's subconscious to the subconscious of another, who shares the same identity and survival necessity. Such communication transpires at subconscious levels when the conscious levels of the brain-computer functioning cannot bear to address certain issues. White supremacy is a topic that few can or dare discuss in depth at the conscious level of brain-computer functioning. For few dare to probe or research white supremacy, as this could lead to the dismantling of the system. Therefore, it is not surprising that there are many symbols in the system of white supremacy that reveal its root in the struggle for white genetic survival. In the white supremacy system, there is little conscious focusing on symbols, their formation, use, and interpretation. All right, so really in-depth analysis on how symbols exist, the weight of symbols, and like how they literally, you can communicate to a whole collective of people by a symbol. And a person can know where they're at, where they stand, their personality, how far they can succeed, just by looking at a symbol. I thought that was really important to like, you know, read and for us to unpack and talk about it.
Yeah, and it's really sad because of the way like white supremacist culture is that it's like forced us or set up a society where we're so separate from our subconscious, like we don't ever tune into like our subconscious, that it's even harder to understand how these symbols, or like to explain how these symbols affect you so much, because it's harder to build that deep connection with yourself. I don't know if I'm making sense, but like I think that is something I always think about too, is like as someone who's trying to like produce art and stuff, is like how much of this is coming from me and how much of it is coming from like the world and the symbols that I see that is just like making me do this in a sense. And because I'm not connected, I don't like meditate in any way or have space with my subconscious. Like I don't know how to delve into that, which is something that I want to do. And I've been thinking about.
Yeah, I also highlighted the same part, Trey.
Just a spot before you jump in, I'm gonna send a. This is gonna stay in the side. We're not gonna show the art on the chat, but I'm gonna send this to the send this painting that a white person painted yesterday, and I want us to like. I just feel like when I saw it, I got a lot of I got a lot of knowledge from it. And I want you guys to see it as well, so we can like quickly see if we could see the subconscious workings of this person.
Okay, let's see the painting.
Continue what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I highlighted the same thing because that is, you know, for something so it's like compact as a symbol to contain that much information and control, that is so much power that the masses is so unaware of. So when we get to like chapter 5, we're learning about the crucifix, and when we learn about like the symbol of the guns, it's just gonna like we're gonna have really amazing conversations, and it's just so unfortunate that the masses is just so heavily controlled by the white supremacists. And just the more that I think about just the collective like global control that is white supremacy, it's just like, yeah, critical mass is a must.
Mary, you have anything you want to chime in about symbols? And if you have any like things that you want to share, like if you know any symbols that we should, anything you want to share, anything, yeah.
Well, the most common understand. Well, we understand that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and like the hieroglyphs on like the Kemetic temples or the Egyptian temples, the reason why, like, people think it's a language to be decoded, but they're ideograms, and to say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, they don't represent just pictures, they represent whole concepts. Like, you're looking at something that's not even a word, it's more like an ideology, it's more like a principle. And just knowing that you can get that much information from 3 images put together, then I know for a fact that we're being blasted all kinds of images. And the number one image in terms of domination and rule that's done through religion is the imagery of having a white Jesus Christ, and that relating to God being white, thus therefore they have the power over us. And everybody's asking, like, even if you don't believe in Christianity, the power of white imagery, the reason why everybody's always saying, why can't there be more Black people in movies? Why is everything so white? It needed to be to bombard and basically just create that generalization in our minds that white is right and white is normality.
Yeah, because white's majority.
Yeah, and that ties in so well with what Dr.Frances Cress was saying when Frances Cress Welsing was saying when she said that word projection just really hit home, because I've only used the term projection in terms of just relationships, one-on-one relationships that you would have with people around you, and people projecting their own fears onto you. But to feel like on a mass global scale that the wrong that's done to nations is projected back onto us. Like there's even, okay, I'm not going to say this until I have the reference, but there's a Jewish ritual that is done, and when I have the complete reference, I will bring it forward. But it's to do with reversing sins, a ritualistic behavior that's to do with reversing sins of their own capacity onto other nations and other races, so they don't reap that karmic debt spiritually. And then understanding that it's done even on a spiritual level lets me know that there's nowhere else that is missed in everyday society. Like the prosecution of a Black person going to prison for stealing bread in connotations to thieving for hunger. Like, there's so many other layers that has put that in place, but a European person can still, or white celebrity can still uncontrollably, and it's given the term kleptomaniac. Like, just, yeah. I think I've gone off, but initially the point that I wanted to make about the importance of symbolism is that it's literally there for the sake of control. And what Ashley said earlier about finding ways of knowing what is yourself and knowing what is projected onto you, or what is flashed into you, it's very important to be able to distinguish between the two. And I need to learn meditative practices that allow me to separate that as well.
Also, I thought what you were saying about the white people in the movies about being a majority is really interesting, because if you think about, like, back in the day, like, it wasn't really that way, because the like media was separated. Like, there was a whole like strong Black media that was like had a really large presence, and I think that that's like how integration really fucked things up, is like integrating ourselves into like white media and like a white world in general, where they see themselves as the majority, also fucked with our heads too. Because I think in the past there was a Black media that showed, like, yeah, there's like this YouTube channel called Real Black, and they have all of these Black movies and Black documentaries, and it just shows you how vibrant like Black media, Black independent media was before like integration and things like that.
Yeah, just to really hit home on the collective projection that white people have done. The global majority are people who are not white. That's the global majority. But white people have convinced the masses that they are the majority of the population, which can be proven anywhere. Like, it can be proven that that's not true. That's simply not true. But white supremacy, in effect, has my statement to be said.
Yeah, even like maps. Like I had to show Z that when she was in school, like they were showing her a map, and I was like, that's not a real map. Like those countries are not that big. Africa is much larger than these countries. And I remember even going to Ghana and like looking at a map and seeing how small Ghana is, but then thinking like, why does it take me the same amount to traverse like one part of Ghana as it would take me to go from like LA to San Francisco? That doesn't match up, right? Because it's like huge. California is huge on a map compared to Ghana. And it's like such a setup, and it's just crazy how they implement it in every aspect, where even a map that's supposed to be scientific is not. It's totally skewed to white supremacy.
Great. Do you guys have the?
That's
Did you say the art?
I said, yeah, send it to the group.
It's in the WhatsApp.
Oh.
While you guys are viewing the art, I was gonna say that I have seen a map of Africa 1665. I'll send you the imagery once I have passed the working technology, and that the actual size of Africa, seeing Africa that size for the first time, just let me know how serious the scientific racism is, and why is it so important that we mentally or symbolistically see Africa as very small. I just want to put that question out there.
All right, so I'm just gonna go my immediate thoughts on this. This is like
This is a scary piece of painting right here. Scary painting.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So I know I'm not. When I saw this, I knew what I was seeing. You know, I knew what I was seeing. I knew that I was seeing the subconscious. I was. Of course, there was probably intention in this painting, but it's really revealing. And when I see this painting, and even this slogan "Rise Again" is pretty scary. So, and I was talking to the only reason why I took a picture of this because I was talking to this person for a minute, and they hit all the check marks of like a Luciferian white person, someone who understands the power of Black people and steals their energies 24/7 and puts himself in a situation where they're only around Black people. And even her, she works with youth, like Black youth, and when painting, I thought albino mutants rising from the Caucasus Mountains, no sunlight, in total darkness, and the white is like mystified by not mystified. The white paleness is like amplified by the moonlight, and it was to me. I saw it. I was like, this person is basically, this painting told me not to trust this person. Basically, this painting told me do not trust this person. Do not say they're just. I'm very authentic and real, and I'm a nice person in general. But like, I just knew that something was up, you know. So chime in. What do you guys say?
I kind of want to use this painting for a thumbnail of this YouTube video because it's so scary. It's like
you can just recreate it.
I'm actually friends with this individual. I don't have it. Honestly, I didn't have that interpretation of it. I was there while they were painting it, and the community. Maybe I'm naive, but the communication that we had about it was basically rebirthing themselves from their trauma and rising again. That's the communication that we had, and it's like we talked about Earths that they're coming out of on reaching up the sky, it being a symbol of basically death and rebirthing themselves. It's not rising. I don't know.
They can both be very true. What you just said can be very true, and the other, because that's the conscious and the subconscious working together.
Yeah, it could also be like them rising from the trauma of being, taken, neglected by their African is in the past, like, and like rising back up over the earth that, you know, they couldn't live on in the past too. I mean, when I look at it, I just see it as, you know, just white art like destroying Earth and, you know, coming from the Earth and being a destructive force of power. So yeah.
When I saw this painting, my eyes opened so wide because I was like, this whole fist is coming out of a mountain, and it's like it's so big, and it's like it's lacking of pigmentation and melanin. It was just very. It reminded me of like, imagine in Washington D.C. if they took the monument out and just replaced the hand right there. It will to me it would be the same thing, you know. Yeah, but yeah.
Only because of the nails, it can't have an undead kind of feeling. Something that I wanted to talk about as well over
really quickly about the. I think we should start collecting.
Sorry?
We should start collecting things that we want to dissect together, so we can get better at decoding. You know? So from now on, if you guys see art or you see stuff that sticks out, let's take a picture, jump into the group, and save it for the CRW, you know, group. Yes.
I surely will, because I didn't read it the way that all three of you have read it, and the majority rules, and I trust my melanated people.
It's not that. It's not that. It's just that you have a relationship with this person, and you. I don't know. There's no reason. There's no reason actually. It just is what it is. No reason.
Yeah. You don't have to agree. Yeah. You don't have to agree with us. You just have to. So as long as we're still, our collective mission is to end white supremacy. That's it. That's all we care about doing.
Okay, what did I want to mention? Just the language of that's used upon us to basically further. Okay, so I'm understanding now that through learning the languages, just by having okay, let's say somebody comes over to Europe, West London, and they have to naturalize and they have to learn the socialism, going to see how to operate in society. And basically, we are Black people, no matter what, through our language, like Mary, us referring to ourselves as minority is practicing white supremacy.
Your Wi-Fi has you frozen, and then it's hard to hear you.
Yeah, turn off your camera for a bit.
Like just when you talk, turn off your camera for a sec.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're maybe back. Oh, I learned that that they used to call like Europe. Yeah. Well, man, you muted me.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can be heard.
I learned that they used to.
Yeah, sorry, technology.
Yeah, I learned that they used to call Europe like Albion, because that's where like the albinos used to live.
Swat, he said, okay.
Albion.
Yeah, so yeah.
He said like, he say who? First of all, who is they? We need to identify. Who said that it's albino?
I heard Neely Fuller say it on a broadcast.
Okay, so all right. I just want to like where this knowledge is coming from.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm not harm asking that question.
Albino. I said, it's so awesome. Like,
Right. Yeah, you know, I think Mr. Fable has
literally Fable, you know.
I think Fable calls it Albion or something. Oh my god! So it's always truth in that.
That's as we're throwing words about UK's history out there. England is called England because it's basically Angleland, so it's at an angle that the sun doesn't penetrate all throughout the year, so they can survive.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's why.
So England is the angled land.
So wait, it's angled in a way that the sun doesn't do its job.
Yeah, okay. That's why the British Empire used to probably say that the sun doesn't set like on their like land or something like that.
They said it because they colonize everywhere, right?
Well, I thought that too, but I also thought that it could have meant that where they originated from, like there's no sun. But I could just be.
Well, yeah, it is called it says Albion is an alternative name for the island of Great Britain, the oldest. Yeah, it comes from the Greek language.
Home of the albino.
Yeah, so like,
it says it comes from the river god Alpheus, meaning whitish.
Wow. Can you drop that link?
I saw it
in the chat, please. Drop that link in the chat.
It will always come. It will always be there. If it's not in the mythos, it's
Can you drop down the link in the chat, please?
The WhatsApp.
Yeah, I want to book. Yeah, I broke the WhatsApp too. Actually, I can just transfer it from here to the WhatsApp easily.
All right, you do that then.
Yeah, I have a.
Thank you.
Researcher, babe. So
that's so interesting.
Yeah, I think you're muted, Mary. We can hear you.
Places are they say like Albania and all those other countries come from like the albino like word. Interesting.
So like this
let's hold for a second. Mary is logged out. She got logged out again.
All right.
Let me actually send this to the group so we can all.
Yeah. I want to read that. I want to see that. This is reality for all of the watchers. This is the reality. Yeah, you're finding the truth before your eyes.
Well, I was thinking we could do like twin discussions, but we're reading the same books and talking about it, just me and you, to get more content basically out to the masses.
Yeah, what book do you?
We're both reading. Like I'm reading. Oh my god, I'm reading the freaking Melanin People.
Oh yeah, we can read
that is so. We should definitely be on that. Like we should talk about that.
All right, I'm down. Let's like you do the
Yeah, I'll do the Zoom. I'll do the Zoom meeting and everything.
Yeah, make a thing so you can make that those hour free ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just super down to do that. And this is really short. It's only like 21 pages.
Yeah. Mary, you back? Mary?
Yep.
Nice. We're holding for your return.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Yeah, what was I saying before? Just a derogatory language that's placed on anything that's Black related. Like the fact that we don't even call ourselves by the nation terms that we used to call ourselves, whether it's Moorish, just American or whatever nation you're from. We use the term Black, and Black now has now been used to just basically mean anything of that's derogatory. Not to say that we haven't tried to like re-energize that word and bring more power to it, but even before I knew what the term was, I understood melancholy to mean depressive. I understood that melanoma is skin cancer. I understood anything that's melanin related. So other than us learning what melanin actually is in my adult age, and all of this is just like bad. We've been casting the worst spells on ourselves because of our belief system.
Oh my God!
And it shows you how intricate language is and why we have to take etymology so seriously with the power that we do have.
Yeah, I'm never. But thanks for that amazing new perspective and insight of these words that we just throw around, that melancholy, sad, bad, depressing. No, it shouldn't. No, it's not.
And melanoma, and the worst one, melanoma, which is their cancer.
Yeah.
I learned that when I was working in dermatology, and I was seeing it all over, and then I just had learned what melanin was, and I was like, no, this is a good word. Why is it all over their scientific information, basically classifying it as something extremely negative, derogatory, and killer. And then that's when I understood how much of a threat we were.
Yeah. Definitely.
I actually was not aware of that until Mary brought that up to me in our conversation. Like melanin, melancholy, what? All right, let's get back to this.
Yeah.
All right, I have a bunch, not a bunch, but I have things that I think are really critical. All right. So like, before we jump into this, I should have read this first, but it's fine. Just want to we should just pay some type of homage to Dr.Frances Cress Welsing, and this is what she wrote about her own book. I hope that with this knowledge, the world's non-white people, black, brown, red, and yellow, will work more effectively to neutralize this global and most monstrous form of injustice and chaos. Any person not interested in a definition, analysis, and deeper understanding of worldwide white supremacy must have an interest, conscious or subconscious, in maintaining the same. The subtitle of this work, The Keys to the Colors, came from a statement made by a patient in a Washington, D.C. public mental health clinic in the late 1960s. The patient was a tall, thin, middle-aged, black-skinned man who, in a somewhat confused manner, talked earnestly to me about the problems he experienced in his life. He said, "Doctor, if you could just find the keys to the colors." And he repeated it slowly. It was a statement I never have been able to forget. This work is a portion of my response. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, Washington, D.C., 1989. Yeah. So,
Ashe.
This, I do believe she was a reincarnate of ISIS, so.
Aset.
Yeah. I think ISIS, I don't say Aset, I say ISIS, That's what I believe.
Bro, I just had to throw it diplomatic.
That's what I believe. ISIS paper, not the Asset papers.
Black politics.
Well, thanks for reading that clip, because I'm definitely gonna make that a clip immediately, like ASAP, because it's because I actually posted that on Facebook. Like, I took a picture of that on Facebook, but that's true. Like, it's our duty. Like, we are on this planet to get rid of this system. We're on this planet. We're not. If this system wasn't here, we would already be teleporting. We would already be like flying cars. We would be doing all that.
I was thinking exactly before you said that. thinking teleportation.
That's also a white supremacist idea, though, because it's totally based on idea of like progress and technology being like a better thing.
No, it doesn't.
Just be like,
I should be able to teleport, Ash. I don't know.
we can also just be existing how we were peacefully.
Yeah, we can
Like like every flying car is an exploitation of the earth. Like we don't need flying cars. Maybe we don't need that shit. We probably just exist amongst each other peacefully.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but even
we would
even the analogy that it will be flying cars is white supremacist because how do you know we wasn't the vehicles flying ourselves?
Oh damn! Before they came here and took away all our power.
We were flying though. I believe that we were.
Levitating, understanding of gravity.
Yeah, but then you're still referring to yourself as a machine.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay,
it's everywhere. We gotta do better. We'll do better.
Yeah, I need to start the workshopping for Addicted to White ASAP because we have a lot of addictive traits to white culture that we have to get out of.
You have a PDF for this?
I think your Rugu is really important.
You say you don't?
No, I don't have a PDF for that, but I can try to find one. I can see if someone can find one.
I can find one right now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that book is amazing too. We could also do something around that. Well, we're gonna do something around that book as well.
I feel like Rugu is like foundational because how can you like analyze anything if you still don't really like understand how much European thought affects thinking?
Rugu teaches us how to teach from the African like consciousness perspective.
Do you have that's really amazing. Do you have the author's name?
Yeah, Jerome E. Fox.
Oh.
Are you on
last name?
Jerome. Jerome E. Fox. E. Fox, PhD.
This pattern then is.
Get back to discussion.
Yeah, there's just so much complexities to the mind and the system is very easy to understand. It's like at the bottom line is non-white people, especially Black people, being dominated, subjugated, and abused. But because of how the mind works, society is just full of like just so much, violence and disgusting suffering and poverty and greed, all because of white supremacy.
Yeah.
It's simple, like a somewhat simple system, but its manifestation like complexly dark. I mean, not dark, but disgustingly vile, inhumane, savage.
I may just buy it because it seems like something worth having, actually.
Addicted to what?
Yeah, it's only 15 pounds.
Well, it's cheaper over there than I got it for.
Yeah, isn't that like 12 or something in America? I don't know how to.
I bet like 20 something for this.
I'm gonna do some hardcore PDF looking.
Yeah. I feel like addicted
I'm just buying it right now.
It might be good to PDF because it's not as long, and it's more of like a workbook type.
Yeah, it is a workbook type.
It's to like have like consciousness raising sessions.
Addicted to White, the oppressed in league with the oppressor, a shame-based alliance. Really crazy, amazing title.
Yeah, he actually works with addicts, so that's how he was able to contextualize this like addiction, because he works with like people who are addicted to
That's
drugs.
amazing. So literally rehabilitation of white or white supremacy of the mind. Beautiful.
Oh dang, yeah, yeah, I'm just gonna read something so once we actually start getting there, this is called the pledge. If this group is to achieve the goal of personal development through intense and profound self-examination, then I must and shall disclose my deepest secrets concerning each topic discussed in fellowship meeting, display and maintain the most caring, empathetic, respectful, and sympathetic CERS response that is humanly possible to each disclosure. Protect fellowship members by never discussing the content of meetings, including who attended, with non-members, including spouses and children, or within earshot. I understand and appreciate the fact that to fail to keep these promises will destroy trust and hence this group's process. I may be scared to trust the members of this fellowship, but I resolve to do so despite my fears. I ask only that my fellow members cease being part of the problem and help me experience some of the healing solution as we attain levels of camaraderie and truth and true intimacy that perhaps none of us has ever experienced before. With gladness in my heart, I urge each of you to give me this gift of liberty as I have been unable to find my way to freedom's road alone. We and our communities will be greatly enriched when we reclaim our spiritual heritage. And I was like, a member to, like, yeah, you gotta sign it and shit.
Is that is that an Addicted to White or is that in
That's Addicted to White. It's a workshop book. This is a book that you have to actually do stuff, you know.
That's why I want to get that book. It's a key, you know?
Yeah, you gotta like do it. You know?
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's they already have like some questions that you can start asking yourselves, like, who am I? How do white society and others view me? Whom do I wish to become? What is blocking me? What must I do to overcome? But I think to answer these questions and you have to answer these questions fully, he probably wants you to understand like how society is addicted to white culture. Like, what are the like white values that you're addicted to? There's like 5 main white values that he has put here that he talks about. And you should probably understand those first. And but yeah, it's a really like that's how I bought the book shortly after hearing about it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing the same thing actually.
Yeah, because we want to make change. We have so much time to make profound change in this planet. If not, we have time to end the system and enjoy living in a system without white supremacy.
I agree. I say it's definitely gonna happen.
I need that book in my life.
Well, this guy like, yeah. Well, support the guy and
yeah, mom will be here Saturday.
Man, it's so fast, man. See, America is so.
I'll order mine tomorrow.
Why don't y'all just
Shared workbook.
Yeah.
We can share a workbook. I'm not sharing a workbook.
Exactly why I said I'm ordering mine tomorrow.
You could like.
But what I can do, I can
have a printer. If you have a printer,
I can scan it for sure. But
yeah, and just print it.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't mean that I'm gonna keep it in my room like a little troll. I definitely share it. It's not about to have multiple people writing in one book.
Yeah. And then that's a drag, but like I just, you know, just threw that out there. I think the books that everyone should own, definitely the Neely Fuller book, and because it's just like, you know, it's just, yeah. Also, we don't have to. We could be like the discussion. I don't know how long we've been talking, but the discussion, it could be over. It doesn't matter. Like I don't. we were only talking about literally the introduction and the preface and stuff, which is still like great to talk about forever. But
a lot of information. I used the doctor. I used the color confrontation theory from the introduction in the final part of my essay, actually, which I was really happy to be able to do after spending a whole essay talking about European philosophers throughout time, ones that we've all heard of, just using different forms of classification as to why we are subhuman and deserve to be enslaved. Just basically different ways of justification for the transatlantic slavery, and what is then continually perpetuated through just modern society. It felt really good to basically say, so all these Europeans who have said this, a possibility as to why they have broken it down this way is because the inferiority complex and projection. So that it felt really good to reference her in that statement.
Yeah, I can't wait to read your essay. I would love to comment on it and maybe.
Yes, please. I'll send it through.
What was I gonna say? I really piggybacking off what Mary just said. It's such a, when you read the information, it's such a cleansing, refreshing breath of air, because it tells you that all the things that you've been taught by yourself is a projection of someone else's, not someone else's, white people and white people who are practicing white supremacy, subconsciously or consciously. All the horrible things you hear about black people are usually projections of the inner stuff in regards to white people and those who are practicing white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I say that. Briefly.
Yeah, I'm gonna send that. I can drag and drop. Can I drag and drop?
Yeah, there's a chat option here. You can send it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna try and do that.
That will work. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm highly excited. Excited to unpack this melanin people.
I'm excited. I want to read that too, but I want to do at least 1 or 2 more chapters of the ISIS papers.
Oh, before you take on new material.
Yes, it helps me. Because it's specifically talking about eating. There's another good book that talks about melanin and basically just what it does for us biologically, what it does for everybody biologically, and apparently there's even Europeans that have some form of melanin that's described, and it's Dr. Lila Afrika that wrote this book. It's called The Science of Melanin. Dr. Lila Afrika. He
I'm confused. What kind of melanin do you have?
The Science of Melanin, and he describes how all the different races that are melanin producing, how it affects us. He goes as far as to describe as to why we have coily hair, and even though melanated other races have straight hair, and they talk about how European melanin that they do have, it's synonymous to the melanin that animals have.
Wow.
Ooh, yeah. We gotta put that in a book club down the line for sure. I feel
yeah, it's a very short read as well.
Yeah.
No more than 100 pages.
Yeah.
Did you jump in the chat already?
Sorry?
You jump it in the chat?
I actually, Trey, you actually have the book. I gave it to you.
Which one? The Destruction of Black Civilization?
No, not that one. The Science of Melanin by Dr. Lila Afrika.
Oh, no, it's in the bookshelf. I think I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I'm going to send it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, we can just PDF that ourselves and send it to the group.
Literally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so for me, the information is going to take long for me to send it, so we could just continue our conversation.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, we're not pressed. We're not in a rush.
Yeah, I think every opportunity that we have for the our most recent ancestors who have passed and the ones who are still alive today, the elders who have been there because they're around in our lifetime. It's just that we came into this understanding and knowledge late. I wouldn't even call it late because everything happens for a reason. But to say that the practicality of how beautiful it would have been to have Dr. Frances Cress Welsing alive today to actually ask her some of the questions.
I'm sure she would have been down to like talk to the book club too.
A million percent.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Everything's happening for a reason. But I'm sure she's like very happy to see us like really, really doing like this work and like dissecting her like materials just so like vigorously and also like applying it, applying it and being brave about talking about it, knowing the consequences of like dealing with white supremacy, knowing what happens when any like person with any sort of platform starts talking about racism, white supremacy, bad things happen.
Yeah.
But we will be, intellectually guarded and logical and spiritually guarded. So I'm not worried about anything.
Same.
Okay. I think I'm getting somewhere.
I can't wait for the next session where we talk about alienation and narcissism and like all these things that go about within the psyche of those who classify themselves as white.
Yeah, I used to work with like all the white coworkers I had at freaking the rave were like what were exactly what Dr. Welsing is talking about, like narcissistic, alienating, like kept to themselves or only mingle with the white manager because there was no other like lowly worker white person. He was like the only one, and it's just like wow, I was not able to understand this behavior when I was like experiencing it, but now I'm able to contextualize it, and yeah, you see it in all areas of people activity. You can see and understand racism, white supremacy, and white people.
Let's see if there's anything else. This is my. I really do like. I mean, we could go on and on about this. Let me see if I have anything that's pressing. We talk about everything that I want to talk about. Oh yeah, and I think it's so interesting that one sentence. What is white supremacy? It is the result of white people not being able to have something that they want, melanin. And it's the constant reminder. Whenever they see a black person, they're reminded of the lack of what they want. Yeah, I think it's really Dr. Frances Cress Welsing is the person who told me about that. Just want to say that,
Yeah, like yeah. Me personally, I understand the context of slavery. I see the master beating the first of all, a lot of like literature describes slavery as like the master as like a psycho child, like who has all these like these needs. And whenever I read about like a slave master like beating a slave, I always just see like a abandoned child who has so much hatred for the parent that abandoned them so long ago, and never gave them that love and that warmth that they needed to develop into a kind, constructive human beings. If you understand what I just said?
Yep. Yep.
I'd actually like to repeat the last sentence.
So because of that, because they've been abandoned and they have that hate, and also they were never able to receive the love that they needed, because white people are the abandoned offspring of the black parents from long ago in Africa. So because they never were able to develop, because a child needs like love and needs to not feel alienated and narcissistic to develop into a good human being, because they've never have had that proper parenting.
Yeah.
That hate manifests throughout history whenever white people are contacting black people. So when I see a black slave getting beat by a white slave master, I see a child beating their parent for abandoning them.
Ooh. Resentment.
Mm-hmm.
See, maybe this is just something for me to do more research on, but it doesn't sit well with my spirit to believe that Europeans are the offsprings of Africans.
Yeah, I totally understand that. You just have to wait till just read the following chapters, and then we'll be able to discuss this further.
Okay.
But like, we're not talking about all European. We're talking about the original ones. They proliferated among themselves.
Caucasoids.
We didn't have black people around there, so just the original ones who left the continent via being kicked away or by their own choice or to escape the sun. Welsing has various. It doesn't matter why they left. Honestly, it's that they left and they came back to create white supremacy.
Because I always look at the understanding of Neanderthals, and every movie that Europeans aim. Well, now they've basically come off of that completely, and their rebranding is that anything that was monumental in history that they did. So, Gods of Egypt, just the erasure of anything that was monumental or any contribution to society. If they can't put their faces on it, then it was complete savagery. But one of the caveman concepts that I grew up understanding, and me understanding that this is a European understanding of themselves. I don't know why I saw that. I just saw the two separate, like coming from being of Neanderthalic genetics. Have you guys heard of the rhesus monkey gene? The rhesus monkey gene.
No.
So there's a test that can be done, and you can test in your blood to see if you have the rhesus monkey gene, and if you do, then you are a descendant of Neanderthals, and almost every European has it.
Yeah, but most Europeans are descendants, like they have a mixture of Neanderthal and like early human. So the theory still checks out. It's just that once they came to Europe, then they procreated with Neanderthals too.
So is a Neanderthal a human?
They're like a hybrid of Neanderthal people.
Yeah. It's like
because they can actually procreate with Neanderthal.
I've heard that term recently by some scholars that calling white people hybrids, but check out by being like.
No, they definitely are. Yeah.
Being initially South Park like the amazing, brilliant depiction of white supremacy that is the South Park TV show.
Amazing. Literally
created by Matt Stone and Trey Parker. And there's an episode and they proudly discuss in a hilarious way that white people are Neanderthals. And Dr. Cress Welsing has proven that white people are originally albino, are albino, So if the albinos proliferated with the Neanderthals, that would make them hybrids, which just means split, which is, it's not controversial, just reality.
Do you think this is the reason for the projection of bestiality onto us and calling us monkeys or baboons at any opportunity they can?
Yeah, I know white people just naturally gravitate towards bestiality because me and Trey were exposed to bestiality porn by a old white man when we were like teenagers. Like, do you remember that?
Yeah, definitely. I remember Justin, and I do remember that guy as well.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just contextualize. We're able to contextualize just everything so much understanding this. Thanks for that tad bit, Mary.
Yeah, it was a great. Mary, sister, no, Mary, you're in charge of like when this meeting ends and stuff.
Okay, bear with me one moment.
I'm enjoying my time here, so I'm down. Like, I'm just saying, like, you are the master of ceremonies here.
Okay. Bear me one moment, guys.
Wait, are we seeing you? We seeing you Wednesday for like
the American branch?
Yeah. I'm gonna try my best because the UK division definitely needs some nurturing. They need.
I'll help with recruitment. Like seeing that the people you invited, I'll help with it.
Yes, but come Monday, I would have a working phone, so I could be more aggressive on my WhatsApp. I could be more aggressive in communication, and hopefully, because it's not something I'm not selling bitter candy. I'm selling the truth, and it's healing. Yeah. And all I'm really just trying to do is just allow a decent amount of time for people who I do know will have interest in this to basically dissect the information. So it might be within a week's time, but I will do my best to be prepared to join for Wednesday's meeting over with you guys.
Yeah, but yeah, we're on 4. Everything chapter 4 should be read. Everything including chapter 4 should be read.
Okay.
And then we're gonna have an amazing discussion. This is gonna be so long, though. I'm trying to break it up into bits, probably.
Yeah. But most of the chapters 2 to 4. Yeah, 2 chapters.
No. Oh yes, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, chapter 2 is so smooth, yo. It's so amazing.
How do you feel about all those white guys just talking about how much they hate their ghastly white skin?
What the heck? Oh my! Yeah, I was flabbergasted. I wasn't surprised. It makes sense, especially the Moby Dick one. It was like, I'm pretty sure when I read that I was laughing. I was like,
yeah, I really
killing themselves, yo.
Yeah, man, it was real much more overt, man. And that's why Moby Dick is always like an American classic because that's.
I've had so many instances of that though, like people being weird about my skin or like my hair or something and like telling me, even when I was a kid, like just weird ass like shit like that. So definitely checks out, especially when you see the white people who go to Africa on trips and like it's just they're fucking weird. Like they can't not go there and not fetishize and like want to like like take your skin or something. Like it's very weird.
Yeah, and thanks to colonialism, it's almost like the white European is super glorified in like where I'm from in Sierra Leone, in West Africa. If like a European person comes over, like there's music videos, and you know like how in the music video they're supposed to be like, well, the basic connotations of a video girl. they will get any white woman who's on holiday to be in their videos, and you can tell that that's supposed to be the objects of affection. And the like the videos that I've seen, the white woman just looks so awkward. It's not even like just literally just there like eating, but because of this idealization that's happened, that's enough. It's just it's basically work. The rhetoric of projection is work. You think your skin is disgusting, and as soon as you see a white pale European, that's beautiful. But in their own eyes, they know, well, they feel that they are inferior or can be.
That's real bad.
Yeah, like I think Dr.Frances Cress Welsing, and also other people talk about that. Like literally, like so many Black people can't do things without having a white person in it or having some sort of white validation to make it like meaningful or to make it something that they actually like are proud of. It's very strange.
That's true. It's quite annoying. Me and my brother were talking about podcasts, and he was saying the reason why he likes, why is his name leaving my mind?
Oh, I know Joe Rogan.
Joe Budden, yeah. So how he was literally saying that that's the formula to have one white person on your team, then you basically can make it. Because
yeah, I'm not talking about, yeah.
For me, that's just saying like we need a gatekeeper.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay. Where is it?
Yeah, that Dr. Marabi Ani, she says that saving like Africa happens here because Africa is too far gone. They have become European. So, and she was saying this like 20 years ago, and unless like there's been radical work over there to replace the Christian missionary, the Eurocentric ideas of beauty spreading over there, hearing that even a common person just visiting another country could just be involved in someone's so-called art just because they're white is it's really just the mental state of that populace can be that centered or constructive.
Yeah. And especially within, well, for me, I can speak for Sierra Leone because I am aware. In Sierra Leone, the colonization is still very prevalent, and which allows white supremacy to basically just ride at an all-time high, especially because of the fact that Lebanese people, of I'm sure it was civil war that had brought them there initially, or in a sense, I'm not sure, but the point that I'm trying to make is that white supremacy works in a way that I understand it in West Africa, that if another race that is white passing or can basically be the figure of white supremacy can be there, they will dominate. They'll basically use the system to basically dominate all areas in society, which will keep the actual people who live there in further loops and fighting through further loops just to attain self-actualization through the runnings of economy and businesses. And even when they do employ them, just that holding that attitude and seeing them as a minor, as when you're a fully fledged adult, just continues this white supremacy, the dominance of white supremacy over African and Black lives.
So that's what you guys are saying, or is like really I have a subconscious urgency when I ever think about Africa. I just basically what Smart just said, like they're so colonized that they need to be quote unquote rescued / saved. And I think it's really scary that Christianity has manifested so deeply within the consciousnesses and the souls of like the people closest to like I could say our homeland.
Mm-hmm.
the like creation of humanity have been brainwashed into like worshiping blonde hair, blue eye, white Jesus Christ. Well, even as a kid, I thought Jesus Christ was a black person. I never accepted the idea that he was white, but it makes sense that the majority of people, you know, view him as like a white person. And I do see like a lot of colorism and like self-hate manifested in like African films and like even some African traditions, because it's not really African traditions anymore. They're more like censored versions of like expression that Black people and Africans were allowed to keep during anti-black slavery, stuff like that. Well, not during, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Pretty sure. Right, so much, you know, making sense.
Yes.
Ashley.
It's okay. I just can barely hear. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, because it's like the African drums in the background. I can hear him. I'm all the way upstairs in the corner of my room with the door closed.
Yeah, and like I can't say anything because my art disrupts the whole house in terms of where people can eat. So I'm just like,
Wow.
Oh man. But yay, one more week, Yurugu is starting. And I wouldn't call the countering racism, white supremacy division here. I wouldn't call it the American one. I would just call it like the global one because Trey's in that one and he's like in London.
That's true.
Like global.
And I aim to join you guys as well.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like you were a part of the last meeting. I feel like you're a part of that one.
I was there in spirit.
Yeah, but
you're there physically, two people right next to me.
Yeah, but you know, spiritually contributing. Spiritually.
Yeah, that's essay was one. That was the moment we were like the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, sitting in and doing my work at the same time, that's what gave me the confidence to put Dr.Frances Cress Welsing's theory into my work, because the fear of pseudoscience, the fear of them saying that this is not credible for you to use as a scholarly source, you know?
Yeah, why not? She's a third generation physician, like.
Exactly. That's what I had to break down and
so this is an academic paper. This is lit. I can't wait till they respond. You know, I can't wait to read it and then see like if you have to redraft, I would love to help you like redraft this if possible to see it.
I may not have to, but I see what this work is, I see it as part of my work, my life work. Well, a contribution to my life work, especially because I'm talking for our people and just trying to aid light in the areas that we areas that we have been shunned, and I just want to continue to provide more theory as to why I don't want to say we are the way we are, but why the world is the way it is, and why we are. I want it to be recognized that we are constantly dealing with psychological issues that don't allow us to thrive in society the way that we deserve to. And this is part of that work. And and so I'm happy to redraft it over and over and over again, because it's I've submitted it to them. Whatever happens from that happens, but continuing forward, redrafting is necessary for me. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna hold on to what I wanted to read and wait for the not for Wednesday's meeting, but for the UK division version of the first the first chapter of the ISIS papers, because of how long it will take up. I might.
My cousin, he lives in London. I just remembered. Can you send me? Oh, I think I have the link. I'm gonna invite my cousin. I'm sure he'll be down to join.
Perfect. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and I'll like, yeah. Is it gonna be the same time? Like, because there's.
It doesn't have to be Sunday at 6:30. It can. I'm very flexible with time.
You choose the
I
time.
I like the Sunday time. I like
Yeah,
this.
I don't care. I would just ask you for. I personally, as long as it's not on any other days, I don't care at all. I'm
Well,
free.
Sunday's the most days that almost nobody will be working, and it should be like a good lounge day. So I would say, yeah, for now, I could definitely say we could keep it on Sundays.
Yeah.
And just takeaways for me, I think for the next meeting, even the one that I'm gonna be in for SWAS on Wednesday, chapter 2, 3, and 4. I really want to like come with like as much information as possible.
Or to dissect.
To dissect and to share knowledge and to receive knowledge, because like I'm just doing the work. I'm doing the work by the book, like following Confucius and everybody. Like, share the person you know, identify where your knowledge is coming from. You know, just like what we've been trained to do. You know, we're scholars. We're all scholars here. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, when you're right. He just said that we should come with as much like knowledge as possible for the next meeting. Just
like I literally like just if I like something, if something's really really good, I screenshot it. If it's super super good, I'll write it down. Because when you write down stuff, it literally goes into your body. Yeah. Actually, okay. I just remember what to read. I just remember literally what right here in this book. Oh yeah, so this is like this is really good. Once I may have already read this in this class in this discussion already. I'm reading it anyway. All right. Once the collective victim understands this fundamental issue, the ultimate organizing. I'm sorry, I hate it when I stumble stuff like that. Once the collective victim understands this fundamental issue, just so you guys know, the issue is white supremacy, racism, white supremacy. The ultimate organizing of all appropriate behaviors necessary to neutralize the great injustice of the white supremacy power system will only be a matter of time. White supremacy. This is another. I know I wrote it down. White supremacy, racism, white supremacy is the local and global power system structured and maintained by persons who classify themselves as white, whether consciously or subconsciously. Determined, this system consists of patterns of perception, logic, symbol formation, thought, speech, action, and emotional response, as conducted simultaneously in all areas of people's activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. The ultimate purpose of the system is to protect the ultimate purpose of the system is to prevent white genetic annihilation. On Earth, a planet in which the overwhelming majority of people are classified as non-white, black, brown, red, and yellow, by white-skinned people. So she's saying that black, brown, and red people and yellow people have been classified by white people. We did not create race, and we did not call ourselves black. We have been called by white supremacists and those who practice white supremacy. Oh yeah, there's one more note. White genetic survival. Oh yeah, I really read this already. But yeah, white genetic survival is helped sustain through the USA, the USSR, European nations, through drug use, drug addiction, murder, teenage pregnancy, infant mortality, black academic, underachievement. I read this already, but yes, write things down. You learn them faster, and they stick with you longer.
True.
Okay.
Yeah, that's extremely totalizing in terms of just explaining what the structure of white supremacy is here to do.
Yeah, like this one, what I just read, like literally, if you could, like, get this information into people's head and they understand it, they'll be willing to learn more. They'll be willing to like, they'll wake up. Honestly, like, it's hard to refute this. You know? A long time. Maybe I could be like super optimistic at the moment, but I feel like this is really juicy knowledge. You know.
Yeah, it is. It is like, but like the white supremacist mind is a mind that will rationalize this information to be like invalid in some way, shape, or form, and then shoot you in the face and laugh about it.
But I feel like the goal is not to not even talk about this with white supremacists. It's about talking about it with like non-white people.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, so yeah, very true. Yeah, but but it's still like very ingrained in people to just constantly seek pleasure only in life. Most people spend if they're not working to get items of pleasure or just sustenance, they're seeking pleasure. So it's very hard to like get people to read.
Get people to do things that aren't pleasurable.
But like honestly, reading is pleasurable because you learn things and you get happy. You feel that little thing in your soul that rejoice.
Yeah, but white supremacy has made everyone children, so it's like really hard to take in this information when it's easier to exist in a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Of like some black people are lazy, but I'm the superhero black person that is like not and will like, make my own business, etc.
Work 24/7.
Yeah, like it's a lot easier to do that sometimes. But I agree.
Okay, well, I'm very grateful that you guys sat in and come in and shared your knowledge and time.
Likewise.
And yeah, I look forward to further establishing our UK division, but I'm gonna do my best to be present on Wednesday's meeting.
Yeah, tomorrow you can invite them to the movie day tomorrow.
I'll probably be. What's the time that it will be starting?
It's supposed to start at 12.
So 12 is
8 p.m. Perfect.
Monday. 12 on Monday. Yeah.
That works. It works. That works perfectly. I'll be home.
Before the chop ends, can everyone deliver their takeaways, please?
Okay. Yeah.
What did he say?
He said takeaways.
Takeaway. You're always going to take away way more than you say. It's just to like end with this discussion being at the forefront of our minds. Like, what do you take away? This is knowledge sharing, and this is really necessary.
Yeah.
So I did my takeaway. I just read all of them.
My takeaway is because currently I've just been my takeaway is just to like be more cognizant because that whole like I've been writing more like fiction and real stuff, but just what Mary taught me about that whole melancholy and melanin, just to really understand that this language is like is constantly reinforcing curses upon our people and ourselves, so to be more aware of that. And just that, that's my biggest takeaway.
I would say my biggest takeaway is basic the talk, just that extract that I believe Trey had read out, especially hearing it the second time, just understanding how the intricacy of white supremacy and the use of symbols. The use of symbols is done on so many subconscious levels that I need to do like a mental check myself, like what Ashley was saying. And that book, the white, what's it called again? The white. Addicted to White. Taking that, because my mental frame is very much so what I I do need to do work on white supremacy, but white people need to be the ones in power, the ones that have the ability to change policies and laws right now, the ones whose fathers are running the government. They need to be the ones to basically use their energy to make a change and difference. But in understanding Addicted to White, understanding that there's books like Addicted to White that I can use on myself, it lets me know that I need to do way more shedding of the symbolism because I'm very good at dissecting or picking up perception through the TV, but when I'm on social media, even the Black media that's coming through, because of the white supremacist mindset and how any one of us could adopt it at any time and perpetuate it, and understanding that and taking in that content, I need to do way more of a filtering system. So that's my takeaway.
Yeah, it's like I just had this thought. It just gave me this thought of like white supremacy being like this ticking bomb. And everyone's always passing it, but no matter what, it's still like beeping. You know, still like everyone's constantly. Yeah. But still, at some point in time, it's gonna explode. You know, but it's permanently. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. When it explodes, we want the white supremacists to be holding it. That's the key, to make sure we're all able to pass the bomb. By passing it, we're passing, you know, our white supremacist tendencies and our European behavior patterns and way of thinking.
I just want to throw a quick shout out to Ash as well for like helping validate the symbolism and the art that I saw, because I was talking to the artist and I'm very, 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 very intuitive, very empathetic. And I was just after reading this book, it's just that nothing is as it seems, you know? So like every cue was like alienation, like narcissism. They're really good at like immersing themselves the way I talked, the way I responded to things. Like everything was more like super deflective, and but it was a very, very like guided and programmed conversation.
Oh yeah, I know it did.
It was, and I did bring up like bring up all these things, and they handle it like I'm talking about it. If I'm talking white supremacy, there is no reason for my heart to be beating really fast because I'm empathetic. I was able to feel like their heart was beating so freaking fast.
I feel like,
and like it was so funny because like Mary would like walk past, and it was great. It was great. I cannot wait to tell you about this. But yeah,
I'm meeting this person on Tuesday too.
I know you are, but just learn. You know, even though it's dangerous.
I'm just gonna be a little bit more like because I talked about how white supremacy affects me, and I talked about how me and her have it completely differently. And our last time that me and her had met up to do poetry, and they were very, I wouldn't even call it sympathetic. They were apathetic. They understood. They were very much. They talked about that, like the way that they contribute and try to do their best to feel and understand, because they made it very clear that they're not poor, but they understand how much it affects the world, and they understand how they didn't use the term white supremacy, but they very much made it clear that the world is unfair to people of color. And
are they willing to, like, you know, dispose of and give the wealth that their offspring or generations will have to those people and decrease their standard of living?
I'm not sure, but I feel like they have already done that in some way, just based off of the things that we talked about, like how they grew up. They had moved to Japan to teach and volunteer at a very early age. Whenever they talk about their parents, there's this alienation of I've only met up with them like twice, so I guess it's not very. No, I can't pour out for them. The answer is I can ask them. I could find out more.
Well, what else could you say? But yeah.
Well, yeah, you can put that over.
Was this one? What was it?
But you can leave go right now.
Okay.
Actually, I was gonna ask, what were you painting?
Oh, I'm painting it's a portrait, I guess. I'm painting something for my sister for her.
Oh,
It's of Kobe because she really likes Kobe.
okay.
I
No,
love
because if you were down there, I was gonna be like, can we see?
Yeah. That's good.
Ashley, you want to do a takeaway?
Yeah.
there. My takeaway, well, not just from this chapters, but in general, has been that I have a lot of white supremacy has implanted a lot of demons in my psychology, and I've been like having to grapple with them and like try to fight them, and it's been very, very hard to the point where last night I woke up from a dream because like this stuff has been in my head a lot, and I woke up because I had a dream that something crawled in my throat, and then I woke up and literally was coughing for like 40 minutes last night, and I still have a weird feeling in my throat. So I don't know if it's like a demonic white supremacist entity leaving or entering.
Yeah, because like,
but like,
let's use the term leaving.
yeah, it's leaving because like when the Bobby Hemmett like there's this opportunity to join into the cleansing ritual, and I added our names into it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So all that to say, like, I really enjoy everything that we're reading, and it's really been challenging me and bringing out a lot of white supremacist things that I've internalized. I'm trying to like behavior that I'm trying to get rid of. And also, I really appreciate Dr.Frances Cress Welsing and Neely Fuller because I don't think anyone else has given a succinct definition of white supremacy and racism in a way that I can easily understand and apply and give to other people. Yeah. And this is like also like, you know, Neely Fuller did not go to college, not a PhD person, just a person who wanted to, you know, took the time to really understand this world, which is really empowering because like you don't need to go to a white person's college to like really have a comprehensive understanding, which I thought is really, that's why I really liked him.
Yeah, I think it's really amazing that he just looked to the universe and the logic that it came with, and then all right, let me break down this racism thing because I didn't try to do everything about it. I didn't pretend to hide from it. I tried to protest against it. I saw everybody. I saw everything not work. So let me break this thing down. And he mentions that, and it works. And his speeches, it's really.
Yeah, and he has an ability to be real with himself, and I think Dr. Frances Cress Welsing does too.
Are you talking about Fuller?
Yeah, a lot of people don't have. That's preventing us from dismantling like white supremacy.
Yeah, because like we've been like the society has been traumatized so much that like people are just afraid to even speak about it. It's afraid because they've seen like it's just a fear. We're like a traumatized, addicted to white supremacist society.
Like honestly, this whole group has been really helping me like as terms of like my schooling process as well. Like I just do not give my energy to anyone at all, you know, unless I absolutely have to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's
I hope you get your code book soon, so you can start reading that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've just learned that theorizing our experience is extremely healing because it allows us to put a footing in the world that will last in history forever, that can continue to be referenced. It's exactly what white supremacy did to validate their own existence once they learned that they were inferior. The classification of their science is, however biased or incorrect it is, it's classified as a science. So therefore it has some validity, and giving ourselves this validity is healing on the physical level. it's already healing spiritually as we're reading it, but knowing that it's theorized, it's now it's healing on the physical, it's healing throughout.
Yeah, and also like just trusting your intuition, like how Trey like saw the painting and felt away, maybe couldn't exactly verbalize it. I think it's really important to like understanding those symbols.
No, actually, wait. I realized
and I know I don't like it or something I don't fuck with, but I can't verbalize it. And sometimes it's those symbols, you know.
Wait, really quickly. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so I actually verbalized it immediately to Mary, and she did not receive the information. She thought I was crazy. Actually, I thought I was
because I was there throughout the process. That's why I was there from conception to completion. So, and we had conversations throughout.
Like, you know, I have the ability to like look further than what's in front of me. You guys can hear it, but I was Mary was the. Well, you guys hear me? You guys hear me? So basically, like, the first person I told about my theory was Mary, and they didn't see the same thing, which is fine, which is totally fine. But I knew there was something there, you know. Either subconscious or conscious. It's not a good or a bad thing. It just is.
The only thing that I saw after was the fact that in the clouds of the imagery, there was way more clouds than there was any projection of sunlight. And you know, when there's clouds over here, we're not getting much sun. It wasn't a clear blue sky. That's the only thing I picked up. Yeah.
I can't wait to sit down and like expose Ash and Mary to freaking rampage tomorrow.
I feel like I'm gonna be so we ain't swallow watch Mandingo.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna click.
Oh yeah, I saw
that movie.
I told Swallow that Mary's ancestry are Mandigos, and like even that name has been hijacked by it.
This is why I avoided it.
Yeah. So like, anything you want to share about the film? I know Swallow shared some of it. I saw some of it on his Instagram, but yeah, I was like, wow, they're soldiers over there.
Yeah, I wanna share something. I wanna share the whole how the movie romanticized slavery, and at the end of it, there's like it's very delectable Negro, because the Mandingo, the way he is killed, I don't want to expose. I don't want to like tell you guys what happened to him because it's so brutal, but I will if you guys want me to, but it's just like so cruel and violent, and like you want to
the main character,
the Mandingo character, the main character. I guess
the whole movie is about white people. First of all, so I don't know why it's called a blaxploitation film. It's literally like 80% about white people.
Yeah.
And the only times you see the black people are like them suffering in the context of white people. Yeah. It's very fucked up.
Tell me how they take him out.
So like, so first he gets shot twice. He doesn't go down, and then like he gets like pushed in this giant boiling pot, and like he gets like
drowning in this boiling.
Yeah, he gets skewered inside a boiling pot of water, like.
You know,
Were they so they had stood him up, shot him, dumped him into a pot?
No, he falls into the pot.
And then the person who bought him, his slave master, like gets a pitchfork and like starts stabbing him and making him drown in the boiling water.
But he initially set up the water to have him go in there and like basically boil to death.
Yeah. So cook him.
Mandingo was like fighting him, right?
Yeah, he wasn't gonna do it.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So.
And then he shot him twice, and then he fell into it, and then like he stabbed him with the pitchfork.
It's very.
And then he doesn't even die. The slave master doesn't even die, but his old ass dad dies. Who's for the entire movie has been putting his foot on black children,
as a
footstool to get for rheumatism, which is like a huge message of like a white man like is content to keep his foot down on a black populace. Yeah, but it's just so.
That what you just said was literally the Airbnb host. Yeah. Every time he saw me, a complaint. I was like, oh my god, if I was a lesser being, I would come back here and murder you.
But yeah, there's so much rape in that movie, and they film some of the rape as if it's like loving. It's very fucked up. Like the male.
I'm glad y'all watched that.
Yeah, the male white character just like is constantly raping black women.
Yeah, constantly.
He's like not even attracted to white women.
Yeah.
At one point, he's talking to his dad, and he's like, "How do white women work?
Yeah.
I don't know how do you have sex with them?
Yeah.
I've never done it because he's like only raping the black.
Yeah, like
it's
like you can tell that like they hate their women from that movie.
Yeah.
Like they give them like no love, and the woman actually the whole reason Mandingo dies straight is because the slave master's wife, who was also his cousin, like gets pregnant by the Mandingo because she raped the Mandingo, had a baby, and then that was immediately killed. So she gets the Mandingo killed. You understand what I just said?
And she gets the Mandingo killed because her husband, who is her cousin, won't have sex with her because he's in love with another black slave, and because she lost her virginity to her brother. It's fucking
unrequited love.
So the culture of incestuous relationships amongst white people, amongst white people, that is like prevalent in the movie and like very prevalent of person.
They forced the Mandingo to have sex with his cousin. To produce another Mandingo child, baby.
I thought you said that because the cousin was also raped by her brother. That I thought you said that, but that also happened in the movie too. Yeah,
that's the girl who gets raped in the beginning scene.
How long is the movie though?
It's rape.
It's 2 hours.
It's really.
Well, I think I may download it just to write like essay on it because like what has changed from this movie?
Nothing. Like literally the same kind of movies are being made.
They had a very similar plot where Lupita Nyong'o's character, the guy was like in love with her. Then the wife gets like upset or about it, is jealous. The white wife starts beating her. Like it's the same shit. Like that's exactly a scene in Mandingo too.
Yeah, she pushes like the woman down the stairs, and then
she loses her baby.
She loses like what they're calling suckers. They call baby suckers.
Yeah, they call black baby suckers.
Yeah, they call black baby suckers.
Yeah. They're sucking the milk from their like product. You know what I mean? Like they're taking away from the product. This shit's very fucked up. Yeah, but I'm gonna start watching Roots, the show from the 70s.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
I heard the TV show is much better than the movie.
There's a movie?
Yeah. Roots movie? Yeah.
It was like a show movie, right? Because it was like
no, an actual movie.
Can I just jump in really fast? I remember when Eula Taylor, like a professor at Berkeley, was talking about when Roots came out. Like the kids would watch, like students in high school and middle school would watch Roots on Sunday, and then go to school and fight white people on Monday. And she talked about how all the black people love Roots because it was like their first time seeing themselves in Africa before they were fucking slaves. So
that's the part that I'm on.
Oh man, I didn't know how that part. I just remember it from Menticide where like.
Yeah, the guy he gets the whip and he doesn't whip the.
Kente? Yeah. Transforms to Toby. Yeah.
Forget this.
It just reinforces the idea that.
You're talking about the movie. You're talking about a movie version of Roots. What are you talking about?
The movie version. Is it the modern day Roots version or the original?
The one
I'm talking about from the 60s or the 70s, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, with like OJ and stuff. And Cicely Tom.
All I know is that I watched it in, when I was 14 or 15, and it was for Black History Month, and that was how they introduced Black History Month to me.
Yeah, it's actually a really good movie about reversing white supremacy. Because like he literally steals freaking like food, goes to jail for stealing food. Wow, maybe we should start off with the group, with the book club. But it's just like.
Wait, which one, Mandingo?
Sounder.
Founder.
It's like when was it? It must be in the 70s.
Yes.
Because it has Cicely. Is there any Tyson? Cicely Tyson? Yeah. It's just about people in the South. It's after
Reconstruction.
Yeah, during Jim Crow probably. And like the dad has to steal food because the family doesn't really have money. But he ends up like going to prison, and the white people are just like literally like being so sadistic to this family, like who just wants to see their dad, and like it's just suffering. It's very shitty.
It's called Sonder.
Sound. Yeah, and it's weird because it's named after the dog, the family dog.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had more.
What year?
1972, I believe. 1970.
Yeah, 70 something.
Yeah. I have it if you want.
I'll write that down.
Yes, like sound, and then they're like sounder.
Yeah.
And also I have BBC's Racism and History. That talks about how like just genocide is their nature, yo. It's like what they do, what they allow to happen. They don't care. This is what they be doing. And it's like so many genocides we haven't heard about. So I think I don't know, maybe we should watch it with the book club, or I don't know, but what do you think? Do you think we should watch it with the book club?
It's pretty long, but I think it's really good. It's really nice.
I was gonna propose after Rampage, like a more like beneficial movie, like Who Sent Us to the Door, you know? Have you heard of that?
I'm down, but like,
let me tell you what it's about. It's about this black person who
we saw that me, Ash, and I already have it on my computer. I watched it. The Spook Sat by the Door.
Oh yeah, that movie is so good, right?
Yeah.
Which one?
The Spook Sat by the Door. I'm not watching it again though. I'm not watching it again.
It's like
I haven't finished it.
Of how to get your mind right and how to organize.
Literally.
So yeah, let's watch that one after Rampage.
That's why I proposed it, because Ash just said it.
Because this is like this movie we're watching is the white mind, the totality of the white mind and what it wants to do, and the Spook Us Out by the Door will be like the total opposite of how we need to behave and how we need to ourselves.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah. So like, let's do that. So next week is gonna be Spook Us Out by the Door.
It's crazy how the White Supremacist Project has just like, when you think about it, they succeeded so well in all of South and Central America, because they literally like have almost eradicated the indigenous population and absorbed them into whiteness, so that you can't even tell if a person is from like Latin America is white or not. Sometimes that's like what they. That's like that was like their plan. That's just crazy to think about how many indigenous people are either gone or have been absorbed into like whiteness. Yeah,
what does that even mean to be absorbed into whiteness? Or just like
there's like all of their ancestors, all of their offspring, on and on, have just become white people.
Yeah, and they just lose everything. Spreading the disease of the white mind.
Right.
Mary, you do your takeaway, Mary?
Yes, I did my takeaway.
Right.
Okay, well, yes, this has been a very, very educational and helpful 3 hours. Thank you guys for participating and coming and joining the meeting and contributing so heavily. And thank you, Swar, for just founding this in the first place. It's so highly necessary. Thank you for taking the time and energy.
He's guy. Right there.
To basically further put in place ways of freeing our people and freeing ourselves of the constraints of white supremacy. Yeah. And hopefully in a year's time, there will be Europeans talking about how they can reduce, how they can remove their white supremacy footprint, as opposed to, and not just care about their environmental footprint that they're doing onto the world.
Yes.
Honestly,
Thank
like when I met Swan in the womb, I knew he was gonna like kind of be the reason why white supremacy ended. Yeah. It was like it was a look he had in his eye, you know.
Thanks for the affirmation, man. It took me a long time to figure out what I was fighting. Like what was it? Well, it's not the trauma. It's not the trauma. It can't be just the trauma.
Yeah.
It's still like, thanks for the affirmations. Yeah, I just thought it would be important to get people like focus on the issue at hand, and here we are. And it's only gonna grow. We're only gonna grow, and get more people who want to replace white supremacy with justice.
Yeah.
So
I'll fix that.
meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
Can you show Mary how to download the video? Like, how did she download the video? Yeah.
Oh no! Right after it's gonna be it's gonna go to converting, but she's only gonna have the first half. I'm gonna have the second half.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm recording right now. Because you made me as soon as you made me host, I took over recording.
Okay, so that's the time my laptop shut down.
What?
Send her the path because it's hard to find the Zoom file.
Oh well, it goes to your documents. Your documents folder.
For me, it didn't. For me, I had to search it through some other stuff, and it was really hard.
I know, but also when you are converting it, after convert is like open file location. It has that button.
Okay.
So you'll be able to find it easily.
Yeah, I think you have to put your you're not using USB, Mary, because I don't think you can put enough space.
You're right. I do have a USB available.
I don't need you. I'm not gonna upload the first half. I'm only gonna upload the second half because this is already.
I want the first half so I can take some stuff that like.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Okay.
But,
I'll try and play directly onto my USB now.
Yeah. So,
I do have, yeah.
Right after it should say converting if it hasn't already converted it.
Well, that first time that it shut down, I did see converting.
So yeah.
But this, yeah, it's come in and out quite a bit. But anything I do have, I guess you said you recorded the second half, so I'll send you the first one.
Okay, well, I said you didn't have to because I remember where this meeting started off, and I think it's still like a lot of information, a lot of good information.
Mm.
And Trey said he's gonna use the first half.
Perfect. Okay, I'll send it. But yeah, Trey, I'll definitely get that to you.
Yeah, this is like. Listen,
thank you everybody for your contributions.
I want to get an Instagram video.
Yeah, no problem. Let me show you.
With my egghead.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm very happy about this book club. I'm happy that we're gonna be starting. Just the books we're reading is really elevational and really allowing us to like just counter anyone who's not aware of the reality that we're living in, which is like unfortunately a lot of people. But we're doing the good work. We're doing God's work. We're doing our work. So
yeah.
Great. Get this sheep order, you know. Gotta hurt them. Gotta hurt.
Yurugu, I can't wait to start talking about Yurugu and just being able to like refer to white people as the Asili, you know. I want to like and just like
really. But when is the Yurugu discussion?
That is officially on
next Friday, the Friday after next, right?
Yeah, that's the 18th, 12 p.m.
Yeah, it's that one's good because she has her own language to describe things. Like,
well, yeah,
it's chapter 1 it's chapter 1 and the
I think you should just do like it's really dense.
It's dense. It looks like it's not. It looks cute.
Yurugu? It's really long.
Oh my god! I have to.
And like she has a whole like a couple of pages of just definitions.
So I'm doing the preface or what's the start?
She uses a lot of Swahili.
Yeah, I think just the introduction for sure. Only the introduction, and then we get into part 1. So only 25 pages. Yeah, because you're gonna need to come with you're gonna need to talk. We're gonna talk about this.
And let's aim for Tuesday for the Tuesday. I want to do I'm down to do 6 p.m. again, 6:30 p.m.
For us
so 10 a.m. 10:30 your time. Are you cool with that?
Bobby Hemmett.
Yeah.
It's at 10:30 my time.
It's like cool or what?
I'll set an alarm, but just for the occasion, because it's about to be spooky time, spooky chats, because this content is really
I said 10 in the morning, 10:30 in the morning for you.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Is that too early? So we can give it time.
The twin one.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No others.
It's gonna be a very, very fucking interesting conversation.
Yeah, about
reading Bobby Hemmett. Jeez.
Especially about this topic in particular, man.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We gotta really go into depth about Luciferian practices. It's been so convoluted that it's literally in everyday practices now. Everybody's a goddamn Luciferian. I don't even know it. Right down the street and you get raped. With people's eyes and shit. But yeah, Tuesday, 6:30 London time, aka 10:30 SWAT time.
That's this Tuesday coming.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's what you guys took about Bobby Hemmett.
Bobby Hemmett, yeah. Nominated people like him. All right, we're gonna end SWAT in the call then.
Okay, wait, yeah, Trey, actually look for the Bobby Hemmett one. Let's do 12. 12.
12. All right, so that's gonna be
8:30.
All right, 8 o'clock. So can we start getting the stuff ordered?
All right, it was a great meeting y'all. I'm about to start converting this. Thank you all. Thank you for being
nice to meet you too.
Thank you for starting the UK branch. I can't wait until we discuss the introduction in chapter 1 all over again next week with the new members.
Okay.
Okay, look forward to it.
I look forward to it.
Love y'all. Bye.
You too.
I love you.
Peace and love. Take care.
Yes.